we are on Ohana. In the top left-hand corner of the map, we have our blue Protoss player from the team Evil Geniuses, the one and only JYP. His opponent down here in the bottom right is our red Terran player from LG Incredible Miracle. It's Happy. And we want to remind people that we actually have our final 16 casters for our IPL caster search have been selected. They're up on our website, and all of their videos are on youtube.com/IGNProLeague or youtube.com/IPL Esports. And what we want from you guys is a vote for the candidate that you like the most. All you need to do is give a like to their video of the candidate that you like the best. It is ultimately our decision who makes it through the next round, who we pick, but we are genuinely interested in your feedback and who you guys would like to see. So please do provide a few likes there, and we'll be down to the final 8 by Friday.
There's actually been quite a response on them. We were looking at them, you know, they were the videos were just posted recently, and seeing a lot of people already breaking the 130, 120 like mark. It's really climbing up there. And I do also like that, you know, we had a general consensus, like these commentators are all pretty solid. And it seems the community feels the same way as well. A lot of that green bar, everything kind of looking like a green lightsaber, you know. Not too much of the, not the dual-sided. I actually had lightsabers, Kevin.
Real ones?
Yeah, my brother got them for me for my 18th birthday. I accidentally severed one of my fingers off. If you guys never noticed, I actually don't have a left pinky. But yeah, so he got me these lightsabers, and I had like the Darth Maul one.
Yeah.
So like it was actually, it kind of screwed itself together. I'm talking, of course, about the Force FX lightsabers, if you guys haven't caught on.
Aww.
But it was crazy, man. You could put like the red one and the green one next to each other. It looked absolutely ridiculous because you had like a Darth Maul that was 2 different colors.
Right.
Yeah.
And who would
the YouTube like bars? Why?
Who would use the good and the light side? Other than General Grievous, I believe General Grievous would use both sides of the lightsabers, no matter what color they represented. I think that's because he had 6 of them, and
they had stolen from everybody.
Yes.
He had slain.
Need I repeat that the prequel trilogy was not so good. I did like Attack of the Sith, but anyway, it's neither here nor there because JYP, he's opening up with a 1 gateway expand, more than likely. He may decide to do something a little bit weird, but because Happy was very good about getting down the supply depot to make sure there wouldn't be any sort of an initial scout, he doesn't completely know what's going on. Scout gets killed by this Marine. He can assume it's going to be a 1-rack gasless fast expand, but because he doesn't have perfect knowledge, he can't do what a lot of Protoss players do, and that would be pulling off of gas to make sure he slaps down a Nexus as quick as possible.
You know, what's actually pretty interesting here is that we've got 2 Zealots opening from JYP. And a lot of times you see players opening with initial Zealots, they want to save the gas because they want to tech. Well, the reality is you're going to get a Stalker if you want to do that because you want to make sure you can defend against any scout. You don't want to let them get in there and see the tech. So tech's kind of out of the option now for JYP. Happy will easily be able to come in and scout it. I mean, he's just now making a sentry. So the real purpose, as we're seeing, is behind this is he's pressuring now with the Zealots, which is going to escape with the Archimpoids. And we should see him go for an expansion here. He's sitting on 1 gas. So, like, what are the options a Protoss has? If you guys are Terran, you know, you ever seen your Protoss opponent, you see 1 gas, you go, okay, 4-gate or expand are really their 2 options. And when you see them open with 2 Zealots, the answer is they are expanding. It's just a clear giveaway because if they don't go for that Stalker, they obviously don't care if you come in and see what they have.
That's right, and JYP did have his options limited, as we mentioned before, just by the lack of scouting that he had gotten before. Yeah, he certainly did have the potential to try and slap down a 2nd gas, move up through tech, and put on some pressure, but that wasn't likely to happen. And Happy now, going ahead and sitting back, going up to 3 barracks. He's already got his 2 gas on the way, but clearly going to play a bio-focused strategy. We'll see how quickly he wants to go up to his medevacs, or if he just wants to prioritize upgrades and maybe get a 3rd base rolling a bit quicker, as he does have a lot of minerals banked up. Looks like he's putting those now into add-ons and upgrades. Yeah.
Now, looking from JYP's perspective, he followed... Ooh, he's actually got 2 sentries on the field, Kevin. He also threw down 2 more gateways, as we're seeing here. Now, with the addition of this extra gas, we could see, you know, I was looking at it before, he was sitting on 1 gas. 1 gas with 3 gateways could definitely mean some quick Zealot warp-ins with these sentries that you're sitting on and a pressure out of JYP. Throwing down the 2nd gas would mean a few less Zealots, possibly a few more sentries, but, you know, now I kind of just expect him to tech from here. The gas was a little bit late if he intended to go for the sentries. You typically would want to drop them early so they can accrue some energy, and then you go for the Zealots. But, you know, he's warping in 2 Stalkers right now. We do see him moving out with these sentries, and it's definitely a possibility he intends to apply a little pressure here, but it's not going to be anything too crazy with how late that gas was.
Happy's picked up on this forward pylon too, so he knows that something could be in play here in just a second. There's not a huge bank of resources available, but it looks like JYP is going to continue to put on that pressure. Already SCVs are pulled in position, though, to start defending this bunker. And in fact, there's already a second bunker that's halfway done. So JYP going to test the front, throws down the Guardian Shield, so he gives a little bit of additional protection there against the range shots. And he actually uses some 3 very nice force fields, basically perfect force fields, to make sure he knocks down that bunker a little bit quicker. Forces the units away for a second. He can't quite kill the SCV building the bunker, though, and he is going to be driven away. Resources lost, a little bit worse for Happy.
Yeah, that was a nice play there for JYP. Now, he does seem to not be turning around and going home from here. Now, we do see a Forge going down back at his base, so, you know, probably going to be starting up some upgrades here in a moment. His sentries are pretty low on energy. It looks like he's just going to keep pressing the advantage that he already has, but not really overcommit. But if he can kill Happy here, I mean, why not take it? We don't see Happy throwing on any extra bunkers. He's just focusing on unit production.
And he hasn't brought any SCVs to the front here to defend the second round of attacks, if that's indeed what JYP wants to do, who did kill 5 workers initially. Economies are going to be pretty much the same, though, because of the additional mules on the field. And looks like JYP is going to go for round number 2. More units coming out right now. SCVs not being pulled, and this bunker is going to fall very quickly.
Oh, and there's so much force field energy here, Kevin. He can easily cut these units off. Take a look at the SCVs coming forward. He actually lets them as he cuts off most of the DPS in the back. It looks like JYP, however, now is being thrown back. He didn't have any more force field energy, in fact. So Happy is going to thwart this for the moment.
Well, Happy, he has Stim just finished up. As we saw there, it was used pretty efficiently. So he has a pretty good army that's actually there to back this up. He's got +1 on the way, and you would think that at this stage of the game, a Terran player would have a few more units, a little more stuff, but really all he's had to do is sit back and defend against Happy, who's voluntarily set his tech very far behind. He's going up to 6 gateways now with a Twilight Council, but no Robo to be seen. That obviously precludes that there's no Robotics Bay afterwards for an eventual Colossus strike. So JYP has set himself back in a lot of ways, and Happy has now been able to stabilize pretty efficiently.
Yeah, it couldn't be more true, Kevin. And I want to go back to that second gas that we saw go down a little bit late for JYP for that 3-gate pressure. If that had gone down earlier, he would have dropped sentries instead of stalkers and could have dropped the stalkers later instead of sentries. Yeah, it would have made it tougher for that first bunker to fall, but he would have had those force fields available in that last part of the engagement. But, you know, it's tough to have that much foresight. You can't blame JYP at all. Now he's going to be making a very difficult transition into the mid-game.
He's trying to go after charge lots now with +1 armor, but it's a little late for this to get off the ground. Happy going to try and test the front. I wonder if he's going to be able to get much damage done here. He's going to go for it, though. Stims up all of his units, starts to duck around with a few of his Marines, trying to heal them up inside of the medevacs. He does actually get around the left-hand side where there was another force field actually missing there. The Zealots, however, do have a pretty good engagement. They're efficiently dealing with all the units off to the left, and Happy really hasn't gotten anything of consequence done here. Yeah, you can see them just kind of fighting each other to a standstill.
You know, a little bit of damage done there. He killed off some Zealots, certainly. He did manage to pick off a sentry right there in the last few seconds, but, you know, just lost a lot of units, honestly. Factory is just kind of taking some free blows right now from these Stalkers, but yeah. So, finally we're seeing JYP's tech get in order. He's got charge almost completed here. He's got a Templar Archives on the way, and he's working on those armor upgrades. So definitely expect a lot of Zealots to be on the field in the near future. It does also appear that JYP is going to try to take a third here. We do see Pylons going down a position, but this is something Happy's not going to let him do right now. You know, until JYP has Splash, it's going to be difficult for him to engage against this army.
Looks like Happy's going to go around the destructible rocks here. He's not actually putting up a command center himself. A couple of Zealots are just sneaking through, though, and Happy's so focused at the front that he's not watching what's coming inside of his natural right now, and his units are just getting farther and farther away. There we go. Finally, Stims back trying to pick this up. Not sure why the neutral supply depot is the one being targeted right now, but maybe the attention is elsewhere at the moment for JYP.
That's
or is that
actually really confusing.
Yeah. That is the neutral. Yeah, that's the neutral supply depot. I just wanted to make sure it was. I was like, I'm not mistaken.
That's extremely bizarre. It actually, the Zealots would not target that unless you manually told them to attack it. And attack walk, they're going to attack Happy's units. That's just insanely bizarre. But JYP now, guys, 107 supplies going to be forced to defend here. He finally has some splash damage, as you can see, by the Archons on the field. Guardian Shield going to go down so he can start forcing an engagement here. Zealots get a little bit caught up, though. Good point by JYP falling back there.
so Happy now going to try and push his way up this ramp. There's already a good number of units waiting for him at the top, though. You mentioned the splash damage there, the Archons that Happy was trying to avoid. But, you know, once those are neutralized or once those are a little bit in the back, there's not actually much that they can do. There's a lot of medevacs here, almost a medevac for every bio unit that's on the ground, so there's a lot of sustain in this army. But Happy doesn't have a lot of frontline power. They're finally joining up with a few reinforcements, and that's going to be enough to drive JYP back.
JYP really let his Zealots get far ahead of the rest of his army there. His Archons were not able to really get any damage, and his Sentries completely useless, now being caught as they're the slower units, and the Stalkers didn't even keep up, charged too fast. But now Happy's really trying to batter down the doors as JYP has lost all of his Zealots for the most part.
Feedback's hitting a few of these medevacs, but that's not really going to stop this train from just rolling on through. Is Happy now powering down everything at the front, stops a photon cannon, almost picks off the second Archon. Storm not available. There's not enough energy left on these High Templar, and Happy's just going to kind of bull rush his way through the front. He's happy with the amount of damage done. That was terrible. And he is going to be able to basically clean up this force, even with as little life as his forces still have.
Yeah, JYP just threw away so many Zealots earlier against Happy's army with the massive medevac count. Happy's army immediately replenished and now is battering down JYP here before he can really make a reply. We see these Marines and Marauders, even with so few hit points, just continuing to put out huge amounts of damage. JYP down to just 47 supply. There is almost nothing he can do from here, Kevin. Even the High Templar getting picked off.
That's right. Pylon gonna fall. So is everything else. The workers killed. 25 to just 9 now. It's 51 supply to 128. And there is not a storm available. Actually had to use another feedback there. These medevacs just willingly dying to the photon cannon. But it doesn't matter because JYP is losing the rest of his stuff. And it looks like IM is going to take a quick 1-0 lead.
Another thing here out of Happy, you know, he's got ghosts on the field. And it was pretty easy for him to predict the shift for JYP from opening with that 3-gate pressure into the the Templar Archives tech route. You know, the Colossi is going to take really long time when you go for a 3-gate pressure. You're going to have to get the Robo, you're going to have to get the Robotics Bay, then you've got to work on extended thermal lances. GG going down for JYP, guys. A well-deserved victory out of Happy. He was able to hold that pressure, and JYP not able to get things done here in the opening game. Yeah,
so strong Korean Protoss player falls to I Am Happy. And let's see who's coming up next now for, it looks like it's going to be Suppy is the next player for Evil Geniuses. A strong up-and-coming, actually local here to the Bay Area, Zerg player. So a guy who's started to compete in some more international events. He's been doing pretty well. We'll see now how he performs on the big stage here at the playoffs of IPTL.
Conan's had some fantastic results as of late. We'll see if he can pull it together here for EG, who's currently down 0-1 against an already favored team. We're going to cut to a quick break, but first, let's mention that our friends at Gunner have given us some equipment to give to you. These are the PPK glasses, I do believe it is, from Gunner. They were given, and they shall be received by one of the IPL fans. So, guys, you need to head on over to IGN.com/IPL giveaways, and you can score yourself a pair of these baddies. I think last I checked, there's something like 1,000 people who have applied for it. So that's not bad odds at getting a free pair of like $150 glasses.
Yeah, so go ahead and head over to IGN.com/IPL giveaways as part of our 12 giveaways to 2013 promotion. So we're going to have a number of cool things for you guys over the coming weeks. So you'll want to stay tuned and bookmark that page as there's quite a few giveaways still left to go. So we are going to run to a commercial break now, but when we get back, we'll be jumping into game number 2. We'll see if Suppy can tie things up or if Happy is going to stretch this to a 2-0 lead for LGIM.